Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rocks with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. Rock stars, I hate to start the video on such a somber note, but we have to give rest in peace to Thomas McHale Ford, also known as Tommy Ford, always known as Tommy Strong from Martin. We all watched Martin. Martin is my second favorite TV show, only to I Love Lucy. To this day, you can catch Martin every single day on syndication everywhere. And we all knew him as the soft-spoken, kind-hearted, gentle, friend of Martin. The one who always brought some calm and logic to Martin's shenanigans and foolishness. We got news yesterday that he died at 52 years old. So evidently he had a stomach aneurysm, or what is actually known as an abdominal aortic aneurysm. So just to tell you what that is, so the aorta is the largest blood vessel in your body, and it carries blood from your heart to your pelvis, your legs, and your abdomen. So when the walls of the aorta, when it weakens, it bulges out and it flares up, and I guess it ruptured into his abdomen. And I guess he was admitted into the hospital on Sunday, a couple of weeks after he had had knee replacement surgery, and they said that his health began to decline from Sunday. He was on life support as of Tuesday, and on Wednesday they decided to remove him from life support. So very unexpected. I don't know if he had any other health problems or not, but when you look it up on the internet, there's a lot of other health factors that contribute to something like that. Diabetes, it said, high blood pressure, and men over 60 with these conditions sometimes are affected by this. So very, very sad. Nobody expected it. I didn't realize he lived here in Atlanta, but he lived here in Atlanta with his wife, Gina. And like I said, 52 years old. It's always sad when you start to feel like people from your childhood memories, or, like Martin was when I was in my early 20s, and I just remember good times watching Martin and everything. So it's just sad. I don't know if he had any children. I didn't find that on the internet, but he, like I said, he was married to his wife Gina. They said that some of the cast from Martin did fly out to Sheena Arnold, I believe is the person that flew out to be by his bedside, and that he was around his family and friends. We've seen a lot of people post on Instagram their condolences. Martin Cole, that's not his real name. What's his real name, you guys? Y'all know his real name. And a bunch of other people that have just shouted out Tommy Ford and how unfortunate it is that we've lost such a good person. So we'll get on with the video and all of the gossip, but wanted to say first and foremost, rest in peace, Tommy Ford. Birth of a Nation, did you guys go see it? It opened in theaters, somewhere around 3,000 theaters last weekend, and to a not so grand opening that they would have liked. So they said that it landed at number 6 in the box office. It was much lower in turnout than they thought would come out. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that the release of his rape case information that came out some months ahead of this release affected him. Definitely so. People were not trying to go out, not trying to support. Whether or not you believe he did it, it was definitely enough damage, and purposely so, to affect the outcome of the release of this movie. I did go see it with my husband on Friday night, and I'll just say that the movie was good. I wasn't upset. I didn't feel like we wasted our money or anything, but it was not what I expected. Now, I knew who Nat Turner was, but I did not know the particulars of his story. I just knew that he was a rebellious slave that, led this rebellion, and that they were going on and they were giving the white folks hell. But I didn't know the full story, the whole full story. I mean, we could guess as slaves. It's not too much to the story. They were brought here against their will, beaten and enslaved, basically. So I knew that, but I didn't know the full story. Okay, so I think the Birth of a Nation, what I was expecting, okay, and let me just say right now that it's about to be spoilers. So if you ain't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, just go on to the next segment. I'll put the next segment time on the screen right here. But what I was expecting was way more rebellion. Okay, I did not know that the rebellion was only 2 days long. So I guess really in 2 days you can't do that much damage. However, I just, for whatever reason, the way it was being presented to me when they were talking about it going on their, circus and promotions and things like that, that it was going to be this whole big story about how, black people had their strength and they went out and fought back and all that. And they did. They definitely did in the movie. However, the movie was an hour and 50 minutes long, and it was an hour and 20 minutes, and I kept on saying, like, when is the rebellion coming? Like, okay. The whole time the movie was going, I was like, every atrocity that happened, I was like, okay, this is going to be the thing that pushes him over. And then something else would happen, and then I'd say, oh, this is when he's going to push him over. And then something else would happen. So it was just like, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to get it to grow so you could just see that it was thing after thing after thing that was happening that eventually, just pushed him over the edge and decided to gather up these people to fight back. But like I said, an hour and 20 minutes, there was only a good 15-20 minutes of rebellion. And really it was only one large battle, which is what you see in the commercials when there's black men that are running against the white men and they're fighting, and the black men have like pitchforks and axes, and the white men of course have guns. But it's just okay. So when the rebellion does start, when the fighting does start, definitely so, it is quite graphic, quite gruesome. But like I said, I just expected more. I thought it was going to be more. The story itself was still good, and it starts from his childhood all the way till when he was hanged. But yeah, I don't know, you guys. There was a lot of talk about Oscar nominations. I don't know if that's going to happen now because of the turnout and also because of the rape allegations. So I don't know even if he is going to be considered for the Academy now. But even when I saw the movie, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I thought that this was going to be like Oscar caliber type movie. I don't know. I'm just telling you guys how I felt. The movie was cool, but it wasn't life-changing for me. And I just expected something different. Gabrielle Union was in the movie, and it was a trip because I remember listening to Nate Parker on the radio, and he was talking about how the studio, Fox Searchlight, I guess, at one point had thought maybe they would have Gabrielle Union be the face of the promotions tour because of all the controversy that surrounded Nate Parker and his co-writer. But of course they didn't end up doing that. And I'm thinking to myself after I watched the movie, Gabrielle Union, yes, she was in the movie, but she did not have one speaking part, and she was very minimal in the movie. So it was just like, wow, they were really trying to take it there, this man's movie. Okay, and you guys are trying to have somebody who has a very small part in the movie be the face of it. Yeah, I know she's a star and all, but still, So I guess you could say that it's a number of things that contributed to the dismal opening for Birth of a Nation. But I don't know, you guys. Am I the only one that felt that way? You guys tell me if you saw the movie, what you thought about it. Was it eye-opening for you? Was it life-changing for you? It wasn't for me. Whatever you felt about the movie, you guys, leave it in the comment sections below. I'm sure people would like to know. Was Birth of a Nation it for you? Speaking of Gabrielle Union, she is in the midst of suing BET for somewhere around $3 million. Evidently, Mara Brock Akil and her husband, they were the producers and I thought the writers for the show. But evidently, Mara has stepped down from her show, her and her husband, because they were offered this fantastic deal with Warner Brothers. So they left what they were doing with BET and they moved on. So BET went on to replace Akil with Erica Sheldon Kodish and Will Packer. Okay, those are now the people that will be producing the show. Which, to me, anytime the originators of a show leave it, that's when the show get real shaky. Shit changes up because the original vision of the writers and the creators of the show, now it is compromised because you got somebody else that's doing it. So that was the first problem. Now it says that they're heading into season 4, and BET is trying to pull a quick one. When Gabrielle Union and BET was negotiating, they said that they would pay her $150,000 per episode, that they would not film more than 13 episodes per season because, you know, she's also a movie star and she wants to be able to do movie projects, and she was signed on to do 2 more seasons, seasons 4 and season 5. However, there was some clause in the contract that said the season may go on to, I believe, 20 episodes, but BET had assured her that they would not extend the seasons and that she would only do, you know, no more than 13 episodes a season, and that was that. Well, now BET is trying to combine seasons 4 and 5 because I think they realized that maybe by season 5 ain't nobody gonna be hanging around no more. They're trying to combine seasons 4 and 5 and they're just trying to make it 20 episodes. So roughly she's out of 6 episodes. That's somewhere around $900,000 that she will be losing. And not only that, but since they're extending her season from 13 episodes to 20 episodes, now she's going to be tied up in the show and she's not going to be able to work on other movie projects. Okay, so Gabrielle Union is suing because, you know, there's some bullshit, BET. This is not what we said that we were going to do. So I understand what she's trying to do. I don't know if it's going to work, especially because they have that clause that says that it may go to 20, even though they assured her. If that was just a verbal assurance, then I don't know how that's going to go. My lawyers out there, my real lawyers. I know I got my YouTube lawyers, my rock star lawyers, but my real rock star lawyers, you guys let me know if she's going to be able to wiggle out of that. If you think that she'll be able to break up these 2 seasons and get all of her money. I don't know where the $3 million comes in. I guess pain and suffering. That's always what I come up with when they try to double or triple the amount of money that they are going to be missing out on. But yeah, you guys, Gabby said, fuck you, BET, pay me. So Toya Wright, also known as Toya Carter, she has her 2nd or 3rd book that she's released, and everybody is talking about the segment in the book where she talks about her falling out with Tamar Braxton. I was like, shit, she must have just finished writing this book a couple of days ago and they put that shit on press, because didn't that just happen? But anyway, she accounts what happened. So all these years that she's been friends with Tamar Braxton, and for the 2 years that Tamar Braxton was on the show The Real, Toya Wright was never able to get on the show, never able to promote her book or whatever projects that she had going on at the time. And I guess she didn't think much of it, even though her friend was one of the co-hosts on the show. We found out that Tamar Braxton was kicked off the show. All of a sudden, Toya says that she was able to book and get onto the show. She was grateful for that. I guess she thought maybe, you know, this is a little strange, but maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe now they're willing to let me come on. She goes on the show, she promotes her book, and she said while she was on the show, as soon as she got off of the show, she started getting all these tweets and notifications that Tamar Braxton had unfollowed her on Instagram. You guys remember when I talked about this and I thought maybe Tamar Braxton wasn't following her to begin with, but evidently Tamar Braxton was following her. She said she found out that she unfollowed her, and she just says another friend, but we know that she's talking about Monica Brown. Toya goes on to say that, you know, she guesses maybe they weren't ever really friends and maybe they were just acquaintances. And, you know, when people show you who they are, then that's what you should believe. Even though I didn't believe that that's what it was, now that, you know, Toya has basically put it out there, then, you know, it's not surprising. But Tamar Braxton is childish. There's a lot of things that she does that's just ridiculous. And this is one of them. I mean, how you could get upset that a friend is trying to promote their business, okay, and how you somewhere in your mind equate that with loyalty to you. You know, unless you're going to be paying for my promotions tour and putting me in other places, then what the fuck is going on here, you know? So, yeah, Tamar Braxton is childish. And I guess their friendship has suffered because of it. I don't think Toya is losing any sleep over not being friends with Tamar anymore. As a matter of fact, with Tamar Braxton always talking about her best friend being Tiny, I really feel like Tiny really is her only friend. I think all of the rest of the girls out here in Atlanta, Candy, Rashida, Toya, you know, that bunch of group that all hangs together, I think that they are friends with Tamar only through, you know how you have a friend that's friends with everybody only through one person is the connect? Okay, well, I think Tiny is the connect. Tiny is friends with all the rest of them over here, and then here's Tamar. So, you know, they kind of just took Tamar in as well. But I don't know if I felt like they were all super duper close like that. Only her and Tiny seem to be the closest out of that group. So, you know, you can't force people to be your friends. If they don't want to be your friend, then fuck it. We ain't friends no more. We just move on with life right now. Speaking of Tamar and The Real, they're saying that the show has taken a decline in ratings. People are not watching. I asked you guys back when the show kicked her off, did you guys think that the show would survive without her? And many of you guys said, oh yeah, it'll survive without her. I never watched the show because I don't really have any interest in any of them, Tamar included, okay? But I knew that Tamar was the draw for a lot of people, and without Tamar Braxton, the rest of them just kind of like, you know, whatever. They took a chance, they got rid of her because I guess they were tired of her antics or whatnots. But now they're saying that their ratings are at their lowest point, you know, equal to their lowest point at back in 2014 when they went through their slump. Now they did pull out of that slump, and they're hoping that it happens again, you know, now. But I don't have the particulars on the numbers of how many people are watching or not. But yeah, they said that they're definitely suffering. There's even some whisperings that if it keeps on like this might be their last season. So I don't know, you guys, if the producers then shot their own self in their foot, or if they was just like, fuck it, we'll just take a chance and we ain't got to deal with that crazy bitch, then, you know, whatever. I had a feeling that nobody was going to watch if Tamar Braxton was not on there. I guess Tamar can, I guess she can kind of smirk and, you know, kind of feel good in the fact of knowing that, bitch, you guys can't make it without me. But are you guys still watching The Real? People out there who still watch The Real, tell me, is it as good as it has been in the past? Maybe it's because they don't have a permanent host to replace Tamar. They better get on the ball and put somebody in that position so people can start getting acclimated to that person and take a liking to them, and, you know, so that everybody can settle down. Because I guess all this in and out guests, which is what lost me on The View. I'm tired of them switching out folks and doing all of that, and now it looks like I guess they have a set panel again. I ain't watched the show in years, okay, so I don't know the people's name other than Whoopi. I know Whoopi is on there and that's it. But everybody is saying that the view is getting better again, and, you know, people are starting to settle in with their cast. So maybe The Real needs to do the same thing. Get it together, The Real. It's gonna be awful terrible if you guys get kicked off a damn network and then Tamar Braxton comes with Steve Harvey and her talk show, because she's definitely gonna be on one of them syndicated channels as well. But y'all let me know, y'all watching The Real still? Guys, congrats are in order to Solange, okay, and her sister Beyonce. They have made history. They are a group of siblings who have reached #1 on the Billboard charts. So Solange's new album, A Seat at the Table, which I love. I do love the album, but I've always loved Solange's music. I loved her first album. I was just wondering what the fuck was taking so long for her to, you know, get this second one out. But now I realize it was a process for her, 2 or 3 years. And she had to go live out in the country somewhere and all of this and all of that, okay? She's definitely one of them deep folks, but I love the album because in today's music it is definitely what we need, and we as women, I think she's been able to tap into a lot of the feelings of black women right now with a lot of her lyrics. We won't go into all of the lyrics right now. This is not a review of the album. I'm just telling you that I definitely enjoy the album. I listen to it all the time. I think she had a solid album. You know, I'm not about to jump up and down and feel like, you know, oh, my soul is complete because of Solange's album, but I thought it was definitely a great album. The My Soul is Complete album for me was Jill Scott's first album, you guys. I loved that album. I still love that album. I can listen to that album from beginning to end, and just every song means something to me. That was the last time that I had one of them kind of feelings like, child, this girl knows my heart, okay? But definitely, I love Solange's album, A Seat at the Table. Have you guys listened to it? Tell me what you think about it. But as far as the siblings that have hit #1 has been Beyonce and Solange. We've also had Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. And then we had Master P and Silk the Shocker. Okay, and ironically, Solange did have Master P narrating throughout her entire album. He was a really good addition to that album. Kind of just carried us through from like song to song, you know what I mean? I'm very proud to see that, you know, the siblings that have hit #1 are all black artists. That just makes me proud. I'm very proud as well of Solange and what she's been able to achieve with that album. Tell me what you think about it. What's your favorite song? Are you into the hype of the album, or do you just feel like it was just a whatever album? Whatever you feel about it. I'm sure we got a little bit of all of that. You guys leave it below. Y'all know when I get the Mimi disgusted face that I got some bullshit for your ass, right? I'm just gonna read to you what Floyd Mayweather said, okay? And I quote, "I'm here to say all lives matter. You know, a lot of times we get stuck and we are followers. When you hear one person say Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter, no, all lives matter. It's not right what is going on in this world on both sides. What I learned from boxing and what everyone can take in real life is to follow directions, follow order. Don't give nobody a hard time." Okay, when they asked him about how he felt about Kaepernick and his stand, he says Kaepernick needs to try and get the starting job. Stand up and get the starting job. That's what he needs to focus on. But I can't knock him. If that's what he believes in and the people stand behind him, so be it. He's got the #1 selling jersey, so it's obvious he's doing something right. You guys, I tell you, nothing annoys me more when black people, now this is how I feel about it. Black Lives Matter is a movement I feel that all black people should understand. I don't necessarily give white people and other races a pass, but I can understand the thought process behind someone who is not black, who doesn't quite get the whole Black Lives Matter and can feel that they're being alienated by not saying all lives matter, okay? But when you get a fucking black person who says shit like this, it just gets on my fucking nerves, because it's usually somebody who is new money. What bothers me about this is, even though you are rich now, you have not been privileged your whole entire fucking life. So you cannot tell me that you have never been affected by racism, or if you want to say that you've never been affected by racism ever in your life, you ain't never knew a motherfucker that's been affected by racism. You ain't never heard stories that your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents have talked about. You haven't seen story after story that black people have been oppressed. Listen, I don't ever want to get that rich. I don't ever want to be so rich and so famous that I get disconnected from the reality, because these people would have you think that once you get to be so high in financial status, that you don't realize anymore that there's a whole nation of black people out there that are being done wrong. So when I heard that, I got so annoyed. I was just like, I ain't never been so fucking disappointed. There ain't nobody saying that Floyd Mayweather is a goddamn scholar. I don't expect him to know much about anything but boxing. Okay, that's what his life is. That's what he's made all his money off of, and that's fine. But for him to say something so stupid, okay, follow orders. What the fuck? We've seen time after time of people who are following orders who aren't doing anything that are killed. And it just kind of puts you in the mindset of a person that says, you know, do what you're told. You guys saw that video of Steve Harvey, you know, put your hands on the wheel, take this hand off, reach over into the glove compartment, look at my eyes and my lips, his whole Sambo'd out. Like, I just was like, it's a shame that black people think that they have to be that way when you don't see white people being that way. Do you not realize that the whole argument is that we just want to be treated equally? And if you got white people, this is just an example, but if they get pulled over by the police and they can be kind of smart and, you know, talk back to the police and maybe even get out the car and confront the police in their face and, you know, still walk away from that, maybe getting arrested but still alive, and then we as black people, we got to be holding our hands on the fucking steering wheel and reaching over like, no! What the fuck is wrong with people? Why do you think that that's okay? It bothered me so much, because he cannot be this disconnected, but he is, obviously. Okay, then when he starts talking about Kaepernick and, you know, he should only be concentrating on getting the starting job, which I understand that he has now, that just makes it even more diminished, because, you know, you just saying that Kaepernick shouldn't have nothing else in his mind, even with the shit that's going on in the world. All he should think about is his football career. I tell you guys this all the time: black people can multitask. We can do a whole bunch of things. I hate when people start talking about distractions and all, because my mind can handle 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You guys don't know how much shit I handle in a day. Okay, so for him to just say that he should just be concentrating on getting a starting position and all that, I was offended by that. Fuck you. But this is also to let you know that that's all that Floyd knows about is his sports, his boxing. Okay, and you know, he just believes that all other athletes, that's all that they should eat, sleep, and breathe as well. And then for him to say, well, he has a #1 selling jersey, he must be doing something right. Now, you just said that he's wrong, right? That he shouldn't be concentrating on that. Stand up, right? But all of a sudden, now that he's making money off the jersey, now, You guys, I can't with such ignorance. Such hypocritical bullshit, you guys. I don't feel like getting preachy up in here, but I'm so sick of motherfuckers like Floyd Mayweather and the number of other black star athletes who have come out. Even Michael Jordan, even if he doesn't necessarily believe it, or we don't believe that he believes it, even Michael Jordan has come out and said some things in support of Black Lives Matter. I would just assume you not say nothing. Okay, I know it's all this pressure on celebrities to say stuff, either for or against Black Lives Matter. But if you just said, I would rather not say, or if you just maintained your quiet on that, I think I would be better than that. Because as soon as a motherfucker get to talking shit like this, I be so through with him. I be through. I'm through with Floyd. It breaks my heart to say that I'm through with Cam, Jerry Rice, all of them. They're all in that bit. Even Lil Wayne disappointed me with the shit that he said about racism and how he never experienced. So, yeah, you guys. I done went on way too long about it, but that shit done burn my bridges. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, somebody tell Floyd to sit his motherfucking ass down and shut the fuck up. Okay, this story you guys want me to talk about is, because my young rock stars out there obviously is real intrigued with this beef between Charlemagne and Beanie Sigel. Actually, let me back up. The beef supposedly is between Beanie Sigel and Meek Mill. However, Beanie Sigel went on to Breakfast Club and was discussing the beef, and Charlemagne let him know that he felt like he was a hypocrite, that Meek Mill has been very supportive of him as a fellow Philly rapper and brought him out every time he was performing, and for Beanie to turn on him in that beef with Meek Mill in the game, he thought that he was being hypocrite, kind of being like a hater, and he felt like he was opportunistic in the beef, okay, just trying to get in on the beef and just kind of promoting his own self and just kind of kicking Meek Mill to the curb. I tell you right now, I don't give a fuck about who right, who wrong, Meek Mill, the game, Beanie Sigel, Charlemagne the God. I don't have much patience for this much niggotry in my life when, Beanie Siegel's on there and he's fussing back with Charlemagne saying, this ain't what you want, this is dangerous, okay, I done fought police and attempted murder at the height of my career, and all of this, obviously trying to be very threatening to Charlemagne the God. People were saying that Charlemagne was shook. I was like, I don't think he was shook. Okay, he sat exactly where he was. He said what he had to say. He didn't have a scared look on his face. But I'm sure that Charlemagne was cautious. Okay, because bitch, I always tell you, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And we've all, well, I don't know if you guys all have, but people my age can remember hearing stories about Beanie Sigel and how, you didn't quite want it with Beanie back in the day. That motherfucker would fight and beat the hell out of you. So, I'm sure that even though he's been sick and all, you can't never underestimate a fighter. So I'm sure Charlemagne the God was cautious and ready for whatever might happen up in there if he got to jump up and run out the way or something. But scared, shook, no, I didn't get that. I felt like Beanie Sigel, as a grown man who was, a big rapper at the time when Jay-Z and, Biggie and all of them were out, like, we now 40s. The fuck you still trying to be this hard and on the street, That was the most disappointing part of that whole interview for me. Like, I'm just like, you grown, like, you ain't moved on from that, like, you still so immersed in the streets that you haven't evolved in your rap career. Jay-Z ain't still talking about running drugs and doing all of that. Okay, we know that's where you came from, but can you talk about something else? 40 fucking years old, or however Beanie Sigel, so I don't even care about what was going on there. I'm just saying that I didn't feel like Charlemagne was scared at all, and I kind of agreed with what Charlemagne was saying. I feel like Beanie Sigel is just using this whole thing to, because he did promote, even while he was on the show, he's got a new song out, something about gang, gang, gang. If you're not gang, gang, gang. The fuck? Anyway, he might be just using all of this to try to promote his album, but he definitely let Charlemagne get under his skin. I don't know why people don't realize that Charlemagne does get on my nerves sometimes too. But I have come to realize that Charlemagne makes a lot of sense. Yes, he can be different in his approach, but people go on that show and you know how Charlemagne is now. He ain't new to the game. You know that he is going to confront at you and say some shit. So you can't let them get up under your skin, Beanie, Birdman. You know, you have got to be able to, because, you know, we all gonna be talking about it, and a lot of times people are just gonna say, like, well, he was saying the truth and you just had a problem with it. Like I told you guys, I actually like Charlemagne. I have a problem with Envy. I think he's an idiot. But that's neither here nor there. You guys tell me what you think about Charlemagne, Beanie Sigel, Meek Mill, the game, all them, child. Leave it in the comments. So much full of fucking niggatry, right? You guys, they say that Kim Kardashian is suing Media Takeout. I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, why is you wasting your time with Media Takeout? Don't none of us believe shit that Media Takeout puts out. But obviously, Kim Kardashian is very upset with some stories that they ran saying that she staged this fake robbery out in Paris so that they would steal this $10 million in jewelry, and then she would file a fake insurance claim with her insurance for somewhere around $6 million. So she's just trying to get this money, and that she actually still has the jewelry and all. So, you know, they came up with saying that there was some unspecified witnesses and all of that. And I guess it pissed Kim Kardashian off enough where she decided that she is going to sue Media Takeout. Now, they have since taken the stories down, but that's not stopping her. I guess I started thinking about it, and I was like, maybe she's suing Media Takeout to kind of give everybody else a warning, like, fuck with me with this one, and I'm going to sue your ass too. Okay, and we know that Kim Kardashian has the money and the lawyer power to do just that. So maybe this is just to get other people to back off. I hope Media Takeout loses, though, because they be putting some bullshit out there. And I guess there are people that actually believe it, but I think the majority of us know that Media Takeout is kind of like the electronic version of the National Enquirer and Star, you know, magazine, where it just be some old outlandish ass stories that 9 times out of 10, don't nobody fucking believe that. But yeah, you know what? Kim says she got time and money, bitch. You gonna give me my fucking money too. And then lastly, you guys, to end this on a happy note, there are official pictures that have been released of Janet Jackson with her pregnancy belly. People magazine looks like they have the exclusive. I believe there's going to be a whole spread in the magazine of Janet Jackson in various poses and outfits. But they have put the first one out for everybody to see as Janet Jackson in a white dress, fitted, and she has looks like she has like a long cardigan or something like that over it. A lot of people thought that the picture was nice. I thought the picture was nice, okay, but there were others who were critical of it and believed that, you know, Janet Jackson, you know, that's not the picture they were expecting from, you know, the mega star. I'm thinking to myself, like, Janet is 50 years old, okay? She wears glasses because she can't see. Them fucking eyes go at 40. She's obviously put on a lot of weight. Her boobs are bigger, you know, she's got this cardigan on because maybe her butt is huge and she's maybe covering that up. We have to remember that Janet Jackson has had some augmentation to her body, and we have seen over the years with people that have had work done to their body when they get pregnant, sometimes the pregnancy fat on top of like plastic augmentation sits weird. I'm not saying that that's what it is with Janet because I haven't even seen like the full spread of what's going on, but you know, when people were talking about her face and saying that it looked different and it looked weird, that might be something to think about. She's had some work done to her face. Now that the weight is being distributed differently, you know, maybe that has been some effect. But all in all, I thought she looked very pretty. She looks happy. She's 50 years old. She's having this baby. You guys know better her than me. I always try to give a pass to those who are having their first baby. I believe babies are a blessing, not a fucking mistake. Because this is her first child and she's been trying and trying over the years, obviously, and hasn't been able to do it. You know, I think that this is a wonderful thing for her. So, I mean, more power to her. And the baby is going to be taken care of. She's got this wonderful young husband, and it looks like he's getting his dream of having his first child. We still don't know whether it's a boy or girl, but yeah, Janet Jackson is definitely pregnant. We definitely are going to be getting a baby. Can't wait to see the spread. Didn't you think she looked pretty though? I thought she looked pretty. Alright, you guys, that's it. Oh yeah, Michelle A's movie, okay, Surviving Compton, comes on Lifetime on Saturday. I will be reviewing it on Monday, okay? The fool of fucking niggatry will ensue, I'm sure. Lifetime has tried our lives so many times. I don't know why we keep giving them a chance, but we gonna watch this shit on Saturday and we gonna talk about it on Monday, okay? So y'all ain't got to ask me if I'm gonna do it. Alright, you guys, we do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.